Okay, so they're asking us to find the inverse of this matrix. How do we find the inverse of a matrix? Well, I'm going to show you two ways. I'm going to show you by hand, and I'm going to show you by technology. So first off, let me go to the notes and show you where it is on the notes. If I can get there. There we go. So the updated exam 4 notes. So there's what we need, inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix. And then we will need the other page as well in a bit. All right, so oops. Let me put that in for you. There we go. All right, so how do we do? This is from the notes. This is the exam 4 notes. So inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix can be done by hand with the formula below, or you can use technology. So here's the formula for the inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix right there. So let's do it. So basically it says that if you have A, B, C, D, and you want to take the inverse of the matrix. So by the way, inverse means opposite, right? The opposite of the matrix, what you do is you put 1 over AD minus BC times, see it right here? 1 over AD minus BC. Where'd they get that? AD, BC. See, it's the two diagonals. One more time. AD is these two multiplied, isn't it, Henry? These two is AD. And these two is BC, isn't it? And they're subtracted. It's called the determinant. I'm not going to quiz you on the name. You go to higher math and science, they'll talk about the determinant. That is the determinant. But whatever, we'll just say it's AD minus BC. And then notice what's happened in here. They've taken these two and they've swapped their positions, right? D's gone there, A's gone there. See it? And they've taken the other two, and they put negatives on them. See that? So this right here is called the main diagonal. Let me write that. This is the main diagonal. Why? Because it starts with the very first entry, upper left corner. So that's the main diagonal. So notice it's all about the diagonals. The main diagonal multiplies, and then the other diagonal multiplies. You subtract those, and then in here you swap the main diagonal, and the other diagonal you change the signs on it. Okay, that's the formula. Let's do it. So it's going to be D here, A here, and then minus B and minus C. All right, so this is A, B, C, D. The inverse will equal, let's do it, 1 over these two multiplied, 6 times 1, minus these two multiplied, 3 times negative 1, times, and then what's going to happen is these two will swap. The 1 will go here and the 6 will go there. And the other two will put negatives on them, right? Negative, negative 1, and negative 3. You see that? Negative, negative 1, and negative 3. So what becomes of that? Well, bring this down here. This is what? 6 plus 3. So it's a ninth, isn't it? Right? The two negatives here make positive. And then we have 1 plus 1 minus 3, 6. Okay. And then you know what that 1/9 is going to do. It's going to multiply all 4. It's going to distribute to all 4. And so our final answer, well, actually, we're going to need 2 steps. We're going to have to reduce it. So let me do it in 2 steps. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. All right, it's going to be 1/9, 1/9, minus 3/9, and 6/9, right? That 1/9 multiplied all 4 of those. Then you can reduce a couple of those. 1/9, 1/9. Right here, this part is reducible. Divide by 3, divide by 3. Same thing here, divide by 3, divide by 3. And it becomes minus 1/3 and 2/3. So there it is. That is the inverse matrix. That's the inverse matrix right there. So what did we do again? We used the formula right here from the notes, which is 1 over AD minus BC, which is the diagonals multiplied. And then you switch these two and change the signs on those two. So I did 1 over, then multiplied 1/9. Then I swapped these two, 1 and 6, 6 and 1 became 1 and 6. Change the sign on these two, multiply the 1/9 to everybody and reduce. So there it is. So how do they have you enter that? Let me go back to that screen and show you that. So back to that screen. Let me find it here real quick. All right, here it is. So when you go to enter it, enter your as a matrix. So you click on here, matrix, enter your answer as a matrix. Actually, I'm having a little trouble knowing how to enter my answer as a matrix. More, oh, click on more, there we go. All right, so I clicked on the more there. Enter your answer as a matrix like, and they want you to put brackets with parentheses. See that? So they want bracket and then parentheses for each row. So parentheses 7, 6, parenthesis 7, 6, comma, parenthesis 1, minus 1, bracket, enter. So that's how you would enter a matrix. Now this one, that's not the right answer for this one. This one's a little different. It just randomly came out. Let me see, I'll do it real quick. 1 over minus 15, those two multiply. I'm just doing this problem real quick. And then you switch those two, minus 7, minus 6, minus 1. And so it's going to be 113, 6/13, 113, 7/13. Okay, so it should be 1/13. This one should be 113, 6/13, and 113 minus 7/13, like that. Let's see if I submit it. Right, green check mark. There's the answer. Yep, it showed it just like that. I got it right. So did you see that? How that's entered? One more time. Let me go back to new version. So you click on this, comes down, enter your answer as a matrix, click on more, and it says enter your answer with a bracket. So you go bracket, and then you go parenthesis, and you put in the top row, you know, of whatever your answer is, comma, the bottom row of whatever your answer is, like that. That's not the right answer. That's the same as the original matrix. It's going to say no. But see how it made it a matrix, just like the original? So that's how you enter it. Now I want to show you on technology how you get this answer that I just got. So let me show you. I'm going to show you on the TI graphing calculator here. Let me go there. There it is. So there's the TI graphing calculator. So right over here. So what you do is you first off, you have to put the matrix in the calculator. So you have to go second matrix. So I just called up the matrix menu, and I'm going to go over to edit with the right arrow, and I'm going to do matrix A. I'm going to go enter. It's going to edit matrix A, which I'm going to put in, hit enter. And now I'd say, okay, here's matrix A. How big is it? Well, it's a 2 by 2. I'm going to go 2, enter, 2, enter. Sets up a 2 by 2 matrix. I put in the original matrix from my original question, which was 6, enter, -1. Remember the negative for the TI-84 calculator, the TI is super picky. You have to use the negative at the bottom of the screen with the parentheses around it. If you try to use a different negative, it'll get really upset. You got to use that negative. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Oh, come on. You got to use that negative down here at the bottom with the parentheses. That's negative. That's different than subtraction, which goes between two numbers. All right, keep going. 3 and 1. So 3, enter, 1, enter. Every time I hit enter, it saves the whole matrix. Save it, save it, save it. So it's completely saved right now. 6, -1, 3, 1. So I can just go second, quit. It's got matrix A saved. Now I'm going to call it forth. I'm going to go back into the matrix menu a second time, but this time to name it like a magic spell on Harry Potter or something where you're calling forth the matrix. I'm going to call forth, I'm going to name matrix A. Matrix A, come forth. I'm going to hit enter, and it puts matrix A on the main screen. And that's the matrix I just entered. And then I'm going to hit the inverse button. Do you see it right here? X to the -1. So that means matrix A inverse, and just hit enter. Okay, now that's a bunch of fractions, isn't it? That's a bunch of fractions. What do you do with that? Let me show you one more thing you can do here. Hit math. See when I hit math, this is going to change it to this is going to change it to I'm sorry, that was a bunch of decimals. I want to change it to fractions. So I hit math and see this change to fraction. Hit enter. It's saying you want me to change that answer, that decimal answer, that whole decimal matrix to a fraction? Yes, please. Enter one more time. So I hit math, enter, enter. Boom. There it is. And that's the same answer we got, 1/9, 1/9 minus 1/3, 2/3. There it is as a fraction matrix. So how did I do that? Math, enter, enter. One more time. Let me just clear it all and show it to you again. I hit second matrix, and I went over to edit, matrix A, enter. I did 2 by 2. I put in all those 4 numbers, hit enter, enter after each entry. When you're all done, just quit. Second, quit. And then go back into the matrix menu again. This time, name it. Name. You don't move over to edit. Keep it on name. Name matrix A. Hit enter. Puts it on the screen. Hit inverse. Hit enter. It does it. Now that is the matrix. You could go over there. You could scroll to the right, and that's the decimal version. But we want the fraction. How do you change to fraction? Math on the TI-84 calculator. Math. Enter. Enter. Hit the math button. It says change to fraction. Say yes, please. It says you want me to change the answer to fraction? Yes, please. Boom. There we go. Now, last thing I want to show you on GeoGebra. So let's go to GeoGebra, geogebra.org, start the calculator, and I'm going to put in the same matrix on GeoGebra. You could also use Desmos as another good program. So how do you do it? Well, we learned it's curly bracket. So it's curly bracket, and then curly bracket for the first row, 6, -1, and then comma, curly bracket for the second row, 3, 1, enter. All right, so there it is. There's our starting matrix. Now let me go back and show you that one more time. So again, it's curly bracket for the whole thing, and then curly bracket for each row, 6, -1. And then I go right arrow, comma, another curly bracket, 3, 1. See what that looks like? It's double curly brackets on the outside, 6, -1, 3, 1. That each curly bracket does a row. Hit enter. And there it goes. Oh, in fact, you know what? I'm going to call it A. Well, you can call it whatever you want. Yeah, I'm going to call it A. I'm going to write A equals. I just like naming it A. I think it's easier. So one more time. 6, -1. Right arrow, comma, curly bracket, 3, 1. Boom, there it is. Make sure now hit A and go shift up arrow, -1. That means A inverse, A to the -1 power, A inverse. I did A, shift up arrow, shift 6, shift up arrow, -1 power, enter. And notice it gives me decimals. I don't know how to change it to fractions. That's interesting. I don't know on GeoGebra how to change all those to fractions. I'm a little surprised it actually did that. Let me see. If I type into this GeoGebra, change decimals to fractions. Probably there's something in. How do I display decimal value as a fraction on GeoGebra? Let's see. I'm going to click and maybe learn here with you. How do I say? Recall the duplicate for a variable and this fraction text A. So you write fraction text bracket. Say this will place a text box with the fraction equivalent or somewhere near the origin. It can then be moved ahead and modified as a regular text box. Huh. Huh. I don't think we're getting a very good answer there. So fraction text was one suggestion. Let's see right here. I don't know. High turn adjustment of fraction. Let me try this one down here. Just trying a few of these topics. Yeah, so it's like saying fraction text again. I don't think you can write numbers as fractions very easily, but you can give the coordinates of a point. Wow, that sounds pretty complex. So I don't know. I'm gonna I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't know if I found an easy answer. I hope you recognize 0.1's forever. That's 1/9. Whenever you have, let me just give you a hint. Whenever you have a decimal that repeats the same number forever, it's that over 9. This is 1/9. This is 1/9. So if you just know that, this is 1/9. This is 1/9. You see, what does this here? Yeah, this is 3/9, which reduces to what? I mean, negative 3/9, which reduces to negative 1/3. This is 6/9, right? Anytime you have the decimal that repeats forever, it's that over 9. So you can just kind of know it by hand if you know that. So there we go. We'll stop there on that. Let me go back to my main screen with having done that problem in several different ways. Back to my iPad. There we go. And so there's the answer, by hand or by technology.